Okay. Welcome and thanks for all of you for coming to the June 20th Board of Directors meeting. We'll start off tonight with invocation. Jenny.
Shall we pray?
Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for another beautiful summer day. We thank you for this weather that we've been having, and we thank you for the rain we got the other day to keep things healthy and beautiful. Lord, we can just look around and see your hand in all the beauty, and the eagle that flies above Sandy Pines, and the other birds that just are abundant here and so fun to watch. Lord, we thank you for each person that's attending tonight. We thank you for the board and their time that they spend here. And we just pray, Lord, that we can work together tonight as a committee, as a board, and as members of Sandy Pines for the better good of Sandy Pines. Please bless this meeting, Lord, in thy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kim, lead us in roll call, please.
Sure. Ellen Carpenter. Here. Rick Day. Here. Bob Deckinga. Pat Dozma. Jenny Hager. Here. Larry Munger. Here. Paul Peppel.
Here.
Craig Van Beek. And Scott Wyman. Here. 6 present.
At this time, as we've talked about in the past, if you haven't been to meetings to this point, we do give members the opportunity to speak about agenda items only. This is not a conversational. This just gives you the opportunity to come and speak about anything that's on the agenda. We still do have the question and answer period after the meeting where you can ask questions and have them answered of any nature Sandy Pines related. So if there are any member comment on agenda items, that unused microphone is yours. All right. I don't see anyone dashing over there. So, Jeff, let's talk about some new park members that are coming to Sandy Pines.
Would love to. Thank you, Paul. All right, so sales numbers for May 2025. We had a total of 15 sales, 5 through the for sale by owner process, 9 through our sales department, Kent, and 1 transfer. Total new members were 27 new members. We had 3 in their 30s, 6 in their 40s, 4 in their 50s, 10 in their 60s, and 4 in their 70s, for a total of 27. And that concludes May sales for 2025.
Very good. Motion to approve from the board.
Day makes the motion to approve new member.
Second, Scott.
Any discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve, or a vote to approve, I guess. All approves signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. You have had the opportunity, the board has had the opportunity to read the minutes from the May 2025 board meeting. Are there any comments or questions about that? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I will, Ellen? All those in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes as well. On to finance we go. Kimberly, the Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails financial statements for May 2025. Can you give us a quick synopsis on that, please?
Sure. As of May 31st, 2025, Sandy Pines cash liquidity had a combined operations and capital cash balance reflective of an increase of approximately $400,000 over the prior year. The investment account through Charles Schwab has grown by $100,000 compared to the previous year. Current liabilities is currently down about $127,000 from prior year. Our net income year-to-date is $86,000 lower than the same period last year. Our total consolidated gross income increased by $282,000 from the prior year and reaching 77% of our annual budget. Our total consolidated expenses are up $346,000 over prior year and represents 58.5% of the budget to date. Our other income and investments decreased by $30,000 year over year, and that was a big factor contributing to the $86,000 decline in net income. Some departmental highlights: our newsletter advertising, our ad income is up about $2,500. However, the corresponding expense has also increased. Our ad income now accounts for 55% of the cost compared to 63% in the previous year. Our inspection income is currently at 47% of our annual budget. Our tree expense has exceeded the annual budget, and this was primarily due to the storm-related remediation efforts that we had in May with that most recent storm. Our maintenance salaries did increase by $6,000 year over year. This was primarily due to some additional overtime hours reflected from the storm recovery, as well as some Department of Labor changes that are affecting the payroll processing. Our auto fuel costs are up due to the gas pump now fully being operational on site, and this is a recognition and timing that we'll notice smoothing out over the year. Public safety salaries have risen, and that's in response to the increased seasonal staffing needs. Our Prox card expense, you will see, is higher in May, and that was due to a bulk purchase of some cards to replenish the inventory. Our recreation utilities did spike in May. Much of that we feel is due to the generator use during the storm-related power outage. Resort services, there were no significant changes to report in May. Some highlights on our food and retail operations specifically. We did underperform in May overall due to the weather conditions. We did have an additional, and this is for the food truck income, I apologize. It has underperformed in May, and we believe that's due to the weather conditions, but there is an additional $1.2 thousand that will come in for the food truck income in May and will be recorded in June. Our park and garden retail sales has achieved a 71% return run rate compared to 44% last year. Our golf cart rentals, the year-to-date revenue is $15,400 and is up $14,600 compared to last year and achieving 50% of the budget. The dairy dip, despite a few days of closure due to the storm-related power outages, they did open earlier this year, the first week of May, and that resulted in a $12,000 increase in revenue compared to the same period last year. So it was good that they were able to get a good start there. Our Country Cafe is off to a good and strong start with 95% return on the cost of goods sold and is up from 74% from last year. And there, we feel those operations have recovered well from the storm's impact as well. The Country Store return on cost of goods sold for the current month is 50% compared to 47% last year. Gasoline sales, we are seeing a substantial increase year over year with the pump fully operational. I do want to note there will be a change in how you see the gas sales because we are reflecting our gas usage internally, and that will drop next month just for a correction of that, and we'll see it more as a cost transfer on the bottom line. So just to kind of highlight that, and I'll make mention of that in my footprints in the coming months. And then last, for our other revenue sources, our sales commission is down about 30% compared to last year. However, we do see that the transfer income is up 21% year over year. Camping revenue has increased by $8,000 compared to the same period last year. And last, our communications and marketing, there was a slight increase in spending, but it was positively received due to the improved acoustics that we're seeing here in this building and upgraded video equipment now used for the board meetings and the recordings online. So we feel that's an investment considered worthwhile. And that concludes my review of May's Sandy Pines financial statements.
Thank you, Kim. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial statements as presented.
So moved, Wyman.
Support, Hager.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that passes. Off to the golf course we go. Kim, what can you tell us about that?
All right, so for Lake Monterey Golf Course, as of May 31st, 2025, the cash liquidity at the golf course, looking at their combined operations, capital cash balance, and accounts receivable, is showing an increase of approximately $11,000 compared to the prior year. Our net income, the total net income, is trailing just about $6,700 compared to the same period last year. Our gross income is up $15,700 year over year. Of this increase, $5,000 is specifically attributed to an increase in the membership purchases. Additionally, we're seeing the gains due to increased green fees, enhanced clubhouse sales, which include the food, beverage, and apparel. Our salary expense is up 6% or $6,500 compared to the same month last year. This is an improvement from the 12% increase we noticed in the prior month, so we're gaining on that. Operational expenses last. The rise in operational costs is primarily due to our increased spending, which was related to the golf course repairs, their maintenance, as well as the higher cost for the fertilizer and seed. And that concludes my review for Lake Monterey.
Thank you, Kim. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financial statements for Lake Monterey Golf Club as presented. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that passes as well. The preliminary budget is underway because the budget actually gets voted on by the board in August, but given the complexity and size of the budget, it's a 12-month operation to try and figure out what's going to be happening next year. So can you give us a brief update as to where we're looking preliminarily wise, Kim?
Sure. So for our budget review, the Finance Committee and the Board of Directors, last month we specifically looked at the increase of CPI related to the dues, as well as where we're seeing the increases in operational expenses, which are beyond our control. So the Finance Committee and the Board of Directors is continuing their in-depth review of the fiscal year 2026 budget. The discussions include the focused review on fees and revenue this month, strategies to help offset our growing operational expenses, which we're noticing worldwide and are just hitting Sandy Pines as well. Sandy Pines will maintain the CPI-based increase for the external rentals, including our seasonal sites and campsites. This has been a continued discussion that as we see the membership costs increase, we're also going to push that cost over to the rentals and the seasonal sites. While managing those rising costs, we're also going to remain committed to identifying some cost-saving opportunities, as we always do. So some key updates in the second review is there's the 2.7% dues increase, which will be implemented due to the CPI as of May 2025, and that will be an increase of $46 per membership. An increased operational cost has been recognized and accounted for throughout the budget. And then we looked at the proposals for fee increases to support those operational costs, specifically those that are under consideration. And again, that are attributed to those increased operation costs include the campsite rentals, the seasonal sites, the pump out costs, winterizing, and permit fees. So that's just a brief discussion of what's being proposed. We'll continue to look at this, and you will see some monthly updates that will continue and be included in my financial summaries at the next board meeting, on the finance page, and in my footprints.
Very good, thank you. So one of the things that the board will be talking about later in this meeting is something called a bond ladder. I'm not sure what that is, but we're going to be talking about it more in depth, or Kim is going to help us talk about this in layperson's terms, because then we're going to talk about it in technical terms. But so we all understand what a bond ladder is and why we're doing this.
All right, so currently, Sandy Pines Charles Schwab investment account has two managers. Both of those two managers are Eagle and PIMCO. Those are the names of the manager portfolios that we use. And those managers follow a total return strategy. That position is where they buy and sell as needed to maximize the returns. In contrast, the bond ladder approach, which we will be looking at, is more of a buy and hold strategy. So it's similar to like a certificate of deposit or CD, where you hold the bonds until maturity. So in talking with our investment advisor at Charles Schwab, as well as the finance, we review this in depth with the finance committee, as well as the board of directors, we're recommending a shift to that bond ladder strategy. Although interest rates may not be at their absolute peak right now, they are close and currently around 4%. We're looking at locking these rates in now to provide the opportunity to benefit if the interest rates decline in the coming year, as the fixed income from the bonds would be more valuable at the lower rate environment. A bond ladder also offers the advantage of a rolling maturity. For example, if several bonds mature in 3 years, the new manager, whose name is Wasner, can reinvest those proceeds to seek higher yields or better opportunities depending on those current market conditions. We feel this is an opportune time for the shift, as we are in a relatively high yield environment. While there is always some uncertainty, the current conditions support this more conservative, income-focused approach. One question we did have is that if the bonds are called and the principal and the called interest will be reinvested back into the portfolio, which would minimize our overall risk within that strategy. The bond ladder investment approach will also offer a better cost strategy with the manager maintenance fees. The fees, which are the fees that are charged based on the value in the portfolio, and the bond ladder management cost is specifically approximately 10 basis points lower than what our current investment manager fees are. So in summary, the bond ladder approach offers more stability, predictable income, and the potential to capitalize on future rate movements. So we will be recommending to proceed with this with the understanding that the yields may decline shortly. And that concludes my review.
Very good. Thank you, Kim. Next step on the agenda is what would normally be comments reserved for myself. However, in this case, I'm going to read a prepared statement from the board because of an incident that had happened here in the recent past. Recently, a current board member went to the 2 Sandy Pines member Facebook pages with the opening statement of, "I need some help." The seemingly innocent plea should never have occurred, and the board is very dismayed by this action. First, a little background for clarity. In April of this year, said board member approached the board with a suggestion for a new bylaw to be placed on the August ballot. Several meetings and hours were devoted to this idea as we all seriously considered its merits. A legal opinion was also sought to ensure proper compliance. Ultimately, it was determined that a process is already in place and has been for many years. Not only is it legal, meeting the Michigan Nonprofit Corporations Act, but also with checks and balances appropriate for both board and administration. It was recommended that we retain the current protocol, thus making the board members' bylaw proposal moot. Not satisfied with this outcome, the board member opted to go rogue, soliciting Sandy Pines member support behind our back, hence, "I need some help." This action is a violation of the duty of loyalty policy, which states in part of supporting and not opposing directly or indirectly or taking any other stance against the policies and procedures of the board of directors. As this was discussed initially in a private setting only, any penalties or discipline will be handled similarly and appropriately. However, as this subject was broached in a public setting, the board felt it necessary to respond in kind. To a person, we feel this board member action to be unacceptable and not representative of the board as a whole. We are a board of 9, not a board of 1. We apologize to the members for any confusion, and we will continue to strive to be servant leaders as a group and not as individuals. And that's all I have to say. Jeff, do you have some comments you'd like to help us out with?
I do. Who wants to talk parking? All right. So parking seems to be a hot topic recently. We had our first holiday in May, right? Memorial Day weekend. And as we know, Sandy Pines is the largest populated spot in Allegan County during the summer and specifically on our holidays. Statistics from last July 4th, which is coming up, if hard to believe already, we had about 35 to 40,000 people in the park during that weekend. So, parking is a challenge. We know that. There have been tickets from public safety, but if you look at those tickets, they should say may be assessed points and fines. Public safety has been driving around and putting warnings on individuals' vehicles to highlight, hey, we need to stick to our overflow parking. We know we have some challenges with that parking, so during the holidays, we're going to try to be more accommodating, but option number one for parking is our sites. I did do some drive-bys with and ride-alongs with public safety, and just it's amazing. You can go through the scavenger hunt and what you find in the scavenger hunt. We'll talk about site cleanup in a minute, but there's a lot of open driveways on our sites. The number one area to please park is on your driveway in your site. I have 4 or 5 cars due to my kids. We've got 3 kids. My car, if we have a guest out there, we're challenged on our site as well. We squeeze in about 4 cars, and we have to let everybody, it's like a clown car. We have to let everybody out first and then park, right? But then we have to go to the overflow parking. So please be cognizant of going to your site first, and then overflow parking is your second option. CCs are not an option for parking overnight. If you got to use the CC, absolutely, but that is not designated overflow parking. We do have some other public parking areas. There's been a lot of questions about the Phase 1 parking lot over by the Dairy Dip. That's where the majority of tickets have taken place. The reason for that is on the reverse of this, we received member concerns about, hey, I'm trying to park either my golf cart or I'm coming from Phase 3 with my minivan and loading that up so I can use the beach, so I can go play tennis, so now people are using that for their overflow public parking. We have people that are trying to use those amenities that can't park there. So during the holidays, what we're going to try and do specifically for that Phase 1 pavilion area, if we have a need for overflow parking, we're going to try and push that all the way down to the far end by the tennis courts, basketball court area. That is a congested area for concerts and things like that, so we need to leave that parking open as much as possible. Phase 3, that one has popped up as well. Phase 3, you may utilize the area at the end of the bridge, and that's the old paved area where it used to be the entrance. And there's some open areas along the Woods, 26th Avenue, that road over there where we've had some clearing of trees. We will utilize those areas as backup for parking for holidays only. When it gets busy in here, we are trying to accommodate. We know we have a parking issue, but please try to be cognizant of that. Real quick, we got a light crew today. I think it's because of the garage sales. So this is the first year that we've officially approved, or at least have tried to do the communication. You can set up on Friday, you can sell on Friday, you can sell on Saturday. You know, quite honestly, it's been kind of done in the past, but we have come out and officially said, go do it. So there's no, hey, he set up or she set up on Friday, I didn't get to do it. We're allowing it this year. So far it has seemed to be going well, so thank you for that. Our concern is when you say Saturday, people set up on Thursday and Friday. When you say Friday, they're going to set up on Wednesday and Thursday. Well, we did have some people set up. It was a little bit of a rough start. They set up on Wednesday. We did have to take that down, but overall it seems to be going well. We are enforcing the out of the green space. You cannot sell in the green space. through the entire park. And here's why. If you came over here last year when we had a board meeting during garage sales, it was a cluster trying to get here, park, traffic. We've pushed people on the back of their lots if they're facing the road, and allowing golf carts to pull off into the green area to get off the road. So nicely done with Jim and Steve from the park inspectors areas, and Steve DeArmond and public safety. It seems to be going a lot smoother, so thank you for that. And a big shout out to the membership on a couple of things. One, site cleanup. Got some statistics, about 107 heads up emails were sent out with, hey, we're just doing drive-bys. Here's what we see on your site that you may want to take a look at and correct. It'll come with, on the checklist, highlighted, here's what you need to look at. And that has gone really well. People have thanked the park inspector team, Jim, Steve, Cindy, and as we go back, we're seeing action. We've actually had members come in and say they've never heard so many power washers going on in the last week to 2 weeks. The park looks really beautiful, so thank you for doing that. We have about 50 to 60% of those people that we've reached out to have completed that task, and so we're trying to give some grace. We put the heads up. We're allowing a week to get that cleaned up, and then the park inspector team is going to go out and look at the sites again on the follow-up. So, so far that's going well. Lastly, permits. Again, thank you to the members. We've had more and more people come into the park inspector's office and member service and basically ask, hey, do I need a permit for this project? Here's what I'm doing. They're proactively coming in. That is awesome. We are seeing the permit request increase because people are understanding what they need permits for. And basically, it's kicking off your project and completing your project correctly rather than, oh no, I've done something incorrect and I got to go back and fix it. So thank you for doing that. It's been a really good thing to see. So a huge shout out to the membership for your site cleanup actions and taking care of your site development and projects with the proper permits. Thank you. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Jeff. A couple of big things coming up here. One is tomorrow, and then one next month. Town halls seem to be a really valuable way to interact with members and for you to get correct information as to what's happening in some big topics like our lake, the biggest asset, some would argue it's the biggest asset we have. And then also the capital investment renewal, which is coming up in a couple of years, but have to get prepared for that. So walk us through what's going on with that, Jeff.
Okay, so again, Lake Committee, Val is our chairperson. She's going to walk us through a bunch of projects that we've highlighted: short-term, mid-term, long-term. Give an idea of what we've completed, what's still in front of us. We'll go over some of the funds that are still available. She'll walk us through some things that the committee is looking to maybe recommend, and some things that have surfaced that the membership will need to address. So hope to see you there tomorrow. Capital investment renewal is going to be, as Paul stated, a huge one for us. If you look at your dues sheet at the beginning of the season, you have your standard dues, then you have capital, and then you have the 10-year capital reserve that was approved by the membership in 2017. That's roughly $200. If you do the math on that, that's $432,000 annual for the entire park, 200 times 2,163 members. And right now, just getting some costs for some of our structures, like a CC will run us anywhere from $500,000 to $700,000 alone. So the costs of our structures that we need to take, our infrastructure is going up. We have hired expert consultants. They're called Whiteman Engineering Consultants out of Allegan County. They do a bunch of municipalities, schools, things of that nature. and they have put a team out here. They gathered a bunch of data on just our structures right now, and they presented their first draft. We're in the process of tweaking that draft, and the plan is to kind of go through some of the high-level information from that draft, and that does not include pumper trucks, PSO vehicles, paved roads, water, things of that nature. So we're trying to get our arms around, again, we're the largest populated spot in Allegan County. You know, hey, we're a little campground. We are a city, and we have structures and things of that nature that we need to invest in to continue to get good return on our members' investments on your sites, and keep this place beautiful and hopping. So we hope to see you on the 26th of July for that one.
And so tomorrow's meeting is at 9, is that
9
right?
o'clock here at the North Shore, 9 to 10. We might even bribe you with some cookies and coffee, so come on in.
And I think this is a designated cooling station also for all the heat warnings. So
It is a designated cooling station.
it's kind of a double benefit. there.
Leave your garage sale trinkets in your golf carts, though, please. So,
Yeah, but you can get going by 10 o'clock, though. You can keep going.
that's right.
Okay, so the election is coming up. I know it's several months away, but we have a whole bunch of people that have been vetted and have made it to the slate of people that are running for the board of directors. We're going to have 3 open positions, and well, Jeff, I'll let you talk more about what's happening with that.
Yeah, so again, election right around the corner, hard to believe. 6 good candidates. The bios information should be in the July footprints, which Ian is finalizing. I'll read off the names here, and if you're here, you can either wave or stand up and say hi. The secretary of our board, Rick Day, and some of the executive committee members validated the signatures, so everybody's good to go. Corey Behrens, are you here? He's a first-time candidate from what I understand. Colin Geibel, also a first-time candidate. Okay. Jill Grung. Laura Hires. There's Laura. Hi, Laura. Kelly Johnson. Hi, Kelly. Mindy Vishow. There's Mindy. So six candidates. We're going to have a Meet the Candidates here in this building July 12th. We're targeting 9 to 10, 10:30-ish. And so go out, bring up some questions, and ask the candidates and get educated on who they are and how they are here to serve the park. Thank you to all of you for stepping up and volunteering. So we look forward to an exciting ballot election this year.
And the election itself is a big process, so I know that we've entrusted several individuals to do that.
Yes. So this year, 2025 election committee is the same committee that we've had the last 3 years. We had a passing of the reins about 3 years ago. Aaron Poley and Patty Poley will be leading the election committee with Jim and Jody with an I, Buchanan. So we'll need a motion from the board to approve the election committee.
Yep. Yeah, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 4 members of the election committee. So moved, I'll support that. And any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And welcome back. And we have some new, this board doesn't survive without committees. I can't stress that enough, that there are several committees that feed us with tremendous information, and there is a vetting process to go through that and be part of that, but it's a way that you can be part of Sandy Pines without maybe jumping onto the board per se, but it allows you to focus on an area that you're really interested in. So who do we have coming up here?
So new members, a late committee member, Dave Hires, is sitting right over here next to Kelly Johnson. So Again, thank you for volunteering.
Thank you, Dave.
And Howard Lippinga, is he here? Howard is volunteered and has been approved for our Safety and Security Committee. So thank you to those individuals for volunteering and supporting our park as well.
I'll entertain a motion to approve those two members.
Support, Day.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And welcome to the new members. All right, so as we talked about with the bond ladder, there is a resolution that needs to be passed in order to do that because it is a transfer of funds. And normally with a resolution, we would read it 1 month, allow everyone to digest it and let it marinate, give opportunities to comment. In this particular instance, it was a little bit more accelerated because of the timeliness of it and because of a attractive interest rate that we needed to achieve by June 30th, and the fact that there is no cost or danger to the members as well. But we still need to go through the process of resolution number 062025A. Whereas Article 8, Section 6, Item B provides that the bylaws of Sandy Pines designate by resolution the banking institutions as a depository for the funds of Sandy Pines, the officers, agents, or employees authorized to execute contracts and other instruments, including withdrawals, on behalf of Sandy Pines. Whereas the Finance Committee has reviewed and recommended the addition of a bond ladder strategy to the current total return bond strategy for the best use of Sandy Pines investment funds. Whereas the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated believes it is necessary to maintain the guidelines of the investment policy to add a bond ladder strategy for better diversification of Sandy Pines investment funds in the bond market. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails Incorporated does hereby approve the following action to add a bond ladder strategy to the current total return bond strategy for the best use of Sandy Pines investment funds. This account will have two signers, Park President Jeff Schweitzer and Chief Financial Officer Kimberly Williams. The account addition will reallocate a portion of the existing total return bond strategy to a bond ladder strategy with multiple diversified bond offerings. It is the responsibility of the Park President and Chief Financial Officer to ensure the amount of funds in the investment accounts uphold the guidelines of the investment policy. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails does hereby approve the above resolution. And I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Scott.
Support.
Any discussion or questions?
How much of our funds are you intending on moving over to the ladder?
Proposal is to move 300,000 from Eagle and 300,000 from PIMCO. So for a total of 600,000, correct.
On the bonds, on the bonds, are you gonna buy them all at one time and they'll be sequent for a month, 2 months, 3 months?
Yes, we'll be following the approval. The manager, Wasner, will be handling that.
I guess we're late to the party. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Being that this is a resolution, we need a roll call vote.
So for roll call, Ellen Carpenter? Yes. Rick Day?
Yes.
Jenny Hager? Yes. Larry Munger? Yes. Paul Pepple?
Yes.
And Scott Wyman?
Yes.
Approved 6.
Okay, it's 6:39. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting of the 620 Board of Directors. I'll support that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And our meeting is adjourned. And again, we will be having the question and answer period for, it's a 30-minute cap, but we do want to give any of you the opportunity to speak. You can ask questions. Just please use the microphone, name and site number, if you would please, and any question that you'd like to ask.
Hi there, I'm Mindy Vashaw. I'm site 1072 from Phase 3, and I just wanted to address the board because Scott, you gave, or I'm sorry, Jeff, you gave raving reviews on how things were going as far as parking goes. I've only been here since Friday. We had a very late departure from Florida this year, and I was just out garage sailing with my family, and we were having a great time. And we were in a side street, and a public safety officer came up behind us, so we went around that to let him out the side street, and at which point I got the lights turned on me, and then I got given a ticket for blocking traffic. My 80-year-old mother was in the golf cart. I let her out to go to the garage sale, and I was told that that my ticket was going to make the wage for the whole week that they've written in the couple hours that they've been on. And I will tell you this, I've been here for 4 or 5 days, and I've talked to a lot of people because I had to get, in a very short time, my petition together to run for board. And almost every single person told me they were given a ticket without a warning. And I'm just hoping that before all these people bring their families in tomorrow to garage sale, that maybe you have an emergency meeting with your public safety officers. Number one, not to brag that we're making their salary in a couple of hours, because that's just not good. It's just not professional. I also think that warnings go a long way. It took us having a really great time to all of a sudden us being in a very somber mood because it just was crushed like that. We weren't doing anything wrong. We were letting my 80-year-old mother off to garage sale, and I was told, well, you should have known you should be parking across the street. So it's just one of those things where I've heard a lot of people not getting warnings. I've heard a lot of people getting tickets. I do hope that we can get to a point where we do issue warnings, and that they're a friendly reminder, and that it's not something that makes people dread coming here and not wanting to be here, and that we can get back to a resort atmosphere. I think that I'm getting a different story than what you're getting, and I'm not saying that either one of us isn't telling the truth. I just think there's 2 stories happening. So I just think if we can get that under control, I think that would be wonderful. All right,
Okay.
That's all.
Nope. I appreciate that, and I apologize that you experienced that. If you can either stop in or we can talk after class, yeah, I would like to get more information on that. In short, I did meet with public safety, specifically garage sales, holidays, things of that nature. I don't know, that's why I want to meet with you, because I actually want to see, I want to... Public information for, yeah. I want to target any one person. Yep, no. Yep, no. But the other thing that I'd like to understand is I've had 4 people in this last week come into my office and have a similar story with, and I'm not saying, I need to see your instance, Mindy. Hey, I got written up. Why did I get written up? So when I look at their tickets, at the bottom of their ticket, it says points and fines may be assessed, and that is their warning. They will put out the rule, they will put out the dollar amount, they will put out the point. So if that is not happening, the direction has been, hey, we need to be cognizant of giving warnings first, trying to be accommodating, especially during busy holiday or events like this. So I apologize for that. We just talked about it at our staff meeting on Thursday, that it's okay to issue warnings, but we're gonna have a busy weekend and we got a holiday coming up. So we'll talk after class, okay? Thank you. Any other questions? We got one, I think, going over there as well. So you guys can line up. Yeah, right.
Jim Hawkins, N31. Just 2 small things. We were behind the PSO golf cart. It needs some work.
I do not disagree with you. Vote yes on the upcoming capital investment, please.
The second thing is, would it be possible to get some, I'd like you to consider putting some picnic tables out here by the food trucks.
Okay. We have talked about that. Thank you.
Just let me first say that I've been told that I have a voice and a face for radio. Sometimes people don't get that. Anyhow, Bob Cowell, Site 287. I have plenty of parking space at our site. We have no problem with it, but I've heard other people, complain about that issue. My question is, do we have signage at any of these areas that tell the rules or the times or anything like that?
No, we don't, and here's why. Because all of the overflow, again, your options are your site or overflow, and all the overflow is identified in the handbook, and there's specific overflow sections that you can reference. We have brought up the question, and when if I get into some of the reading of the questions here, the writing questions, signage has been brought up, but then I get the 50% of the park saying signage is an eyesore, and we've got signs all over the place. So we're trying to manage that appropriately and just really reference the overflow parking that is in the handbook.
Just from my perspective, I think signage would help. Doesn't have to be giant signs, but not everybody's going to reference the book.
We do, again, we do have some signage that, if you go over to phase 3, they'll have parking, no overnight parking. You go into some other areas. We do have some smaller signs, but as these questions come up, well, I want to sign here, and I want to sign here, and I want to sign, we're trying to manage that because, one, again, I get members that say signs are an eyesore, stop putting so many signs all over the place, and two, signs cost money, so we would rather have you spend money on something else. We're just trying to manage that. So we did put up some signs for, albeit we're waiting for the real signs to come up for the boat launch parking. We put some signs in the, like I said, in the phase 3 area and a couple other spots, but we'll try and do the best we can with the signage.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, hey, while we're anticipating the next radio announcer to step up to the mic, we'll read a write-in question here from Andrea at Site 50. Ironically, it's about parking. In regards to overnight parking in Phase 1 by the ice cream shop, recently tickets have been issued overnight for overnight parking, which has been going on for years. One, if parking is not allowed overnight, then signs would be nice to be posted. Is it possible to have half of the parking lot for overnight parking? Not all of the lot will be used for cars going to the ice cream shop and the beach area. Thank you for the consideration. So the response that we gave Andrea is, again, it's my understanding, as I stated to Mindy, a lot of those parking tickets are warning signs, warning tickets, excuse me, written due to the members highlighting the inability to use their own parking lots to park. The public parking in Phase 1 pavilion is really focused to utilize the amenities in the core area, the beach, tennis courts, volleyball, indoor pavilion, dairy dip, concerts. This main purpose for this parking lot is access to those amenities. It's not designated overflow or overnight parking. So we are trying to manage that. That's where I stated earlier, Phase 1, during holidays, busy season, if you need to use that, back to Andrea's point, can we use half of it and allow the other half to be used for events and things of that nature? Yeah, we're gonna try to accommodate that. So we know parking spikes here on holidays. So thank you, Andrea, for that one. Kimberly at K366, not our CFO, Kimberly. All right, I've read the bylaws and have a few questions. May I park at the restroom parking lots for a few hours if we have guests? Unfortunately, no, those are not overflow parking areas. No, you cannot park there overnight either. Are dogs permitted if on a leash at my boat stake, which is not by a public beach? Can dogs swim in that area? We like to kayak in the early morning, and sometimes our dog swims out with us when we kayak. Yes, that is green space. You can have your dog out there. They can go in the lake. They have to be on a leash. If you want to have Rover swim all the way to the island out here while you're kayaking, hopefully he or she can make it. You don't necessarily have that dog leashed, but as you get closer to the shore, absolutely, you can have your dog out there as long as it's on a leash. Soda and juice at the pool. I only drink water at the pool, but I have a family member who is diabetic and is uncomfortable not having juice or pop. I understand no food or drink at the pool. I would like reconsideration that pop be allowed. This is a very confining rule. So we do have exceptions at the pool. So if you have medical issues, you need to bring in, there's a lot of, we've seen this, diabetics, so juice, pop, fruit, oranges, things like that. Check in at the main gate. Pizzas, hot dogs, things of that nature aren't going to get allowed, but, bring in, just let them know. I mean, the staff, that's our policy. We're not going to refuse anything that is medically needed for somebody at the pool area. The new pet signs at the beach is a danger to anyone playing on the beach. Can the sign be moved off the actual beach? Someone is going to run into it by accident and get hurt. Plus, the sign is an eyesore. So, ironically, we had some write-in questions, and this has been going on for probably 2 years now with dogs on the beach, and we've had some alcohol issues on the beach with people, guests mainly, bringing in alcohol to the beach and leaving it there or drinking it there. So we do have signs, and you can see them here in the Phase 4 beach as well. So we have put them kind of right on the shoreline, absolutely, for 2 reasons. One, we did talk about this from safety, security, and maintenance. You put them up on the beach, there are members that walk the entire shoreline along boat stakes. They don't see that. And then all of a sudden they're throwing sticks out in the water, and Fido is running out without a leash on the beach. Well, you're not supposed to have dogs on the beach. So we have put it on the shoreline. We did take into account, hey, it's a metal pole, metal sign. Somebody might scrape an inch of skin off their head if they hit it or something along that lines. So, we have taken noodles, swimming noodles, the foam, and wrapped those around, zip tied them. That's one step away from bubble wrap. And so we've put that on there to ensure that, it's safety related. But ironically, I've been here 6 years, and I know the signs that are further up the beach, just down from the new ones that we put there, that have said for years, warning, no lifeguard, swim at your own risk, are right in the same spot, and we haven't really had any injuries or casualties on that one. So we did vet this. This is the best spot for those signs. So we will leave them there, but we have tried to make them a little safer for you. The bylaws do not mention whether stand-up electric scooters are allowed. You're right, they don't, and we do see them through the park. They are allowed. We are allowing them through there. Just continue to make certain that you're following the safety requirements. We see a lot of kids flying through here. 50% of them have helmets, 50% of them don't. So let's make certain that we're following the safety that we need there. Points for speeding and are exorbitant. Please look at that and please change that if possible. It seems to be ridiculous is the write-in question on this one. Points for speeding, those points have been established for many years. We have a process. We encourage our members to join a committee, join the rules committee, make certain that, you know, that's where this starts. If you want to change to a rule, an update to a rule, removal of a rule, it starts at the rules committee. So please get engaged with committees, better understand our finances with the finance committees, things of that nature. That's where we encourage you to get involved in. So thank you for that those write-in questions. All right. Anybody up ready to stand up? Carolyn, go ahead. Name and site number, please.
Carolyn Nielsen, Phase 2, Lot 803. I wasn't going to say anything, but it brought up a question about the scooters on Bay Breeze, the one that's coming from the
admin?
No, Bay Breeze. That's
Oh,
on
okay.
the administration building.
Yeah.
He was heading to the lake on one of those scooters. He couldn't be 12. He had to be 7 or 8 if at the most. And we were coming around the corner. Thank goodness we were going our speed. He did not, this little guy did not look. I don't know if there's a stop sign there for him going. He just came around the corner. And of course, we're coming around the corner. If it was something that could really have been disastrous.
Right.
Is there any rules or age limits on these kids that are on these scooters?
There is not right now. The state of Michigan, from what I understand, identifies them as a scooter, not a motor vehicle or a motor bike or anything like that, where they could assign some age limitations, licenses, things like that. They're just identified as a scooter. And electric bikes that can get up to 25 miles an hour, they're still identified as a bike. So this one has been a topic for probably the last 2 years that the Safety and Security Committee has kicked around. They've talked about, hey, do we have to enforce? You have to have a sticker for this. You have to, golf cart testing, put scooter test. We haven't gotten there yet. It's kind of something that they're continuing to evaluate.
Maybe even in the newsletter or something for parents to really instill in these kids. I mean, it was an accident that could have very easily happened.
Yep. I know Steve DeArmond has written at least 2 or 3 articles over the last couple of years on this for scooters. So, yeah, we'll continue. The best thing right now is to educate. Just try to continue to educate.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, thank you for your service. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn.
Paul Whitty, K298. Just to tack on to Caroline there, we've had a number of times where all of a sudden a scooter will be right behind you. Can't hear them unless it's one of the rougher roads. And following friends and family as well, they are so close. We have squirrels here. That person slams on his brake, that scooter rider is going to go right into the cart. So I support what Caroline's saying as well. And my other comment is in regards to the signs for dogs on the beach. I'd like you to consider signs. I don't think they're an eyesore. Some of the things we see on the non-beach sand areas, I'd like to consider having signs there for dogs on leash as well.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? I'll read another quick write-in question. Roger from site 458. Dear board members, I'd like to comment on the $3 charge per person for riding on the train. I have 16 grandchildren, and if they all wanted to ride with us at the same time, it would cost $48 plus $6 for my wife and I. The park members have paid for the train, and it is a wonderful attraction for the members. My grandchildren would ride the train every time they come out. if it was available. We have paid for a lot of amenities in the park that we enjoy and do not have to pay to use them. If there is a reason the park has to charge a fee because the drivers are paid, I would hope a much lower fee could be charged. I would suggest $2 per family if a fee is required. Thank you for considering this. So we did respond to Roger and thanked him for his question. Yes, the addition of the train is a popular one. It is on a limited basis because we do have to staff that with a driver, and the driver has to be trained. The team has done, the maintenance team has done a phenomenal job on that train, but it is a little tricky to drive that thing. So I want to say there's probably 2 or 3 people that we know of that can do it really well. Yes, our members have paid for a portion of the cost to build and operate the train. I just want to reiterate, our member dues cover about 39% of the operating cost for the park. Our overall budget for the park is right around $8.1 million. Member dues come in at about $3.16 million. So there's things that we have to, that's why we have those fees out there to try and cover that gap. Similar to some of the rec stuff that's out there, rec has to have sponsors for Color Run to cover the costs of t-shirts and things of that nature. I know they've had sponsors for Amazing Race. So some of these things that we're blessed to add, we have to figure out how to make them work within the structure of our park. So we continue to evaluate those costs every year. Kimberly's doing a phenomenal job trying to squeeze everything we can out of the turnips that we have here to cover our costs, and we'll evaluate it. If we can reduce it or make any changes, we'll take a look at it. So thank you. Is it all right? I got another one. Lisa at site 4398. Lisa's persistent because I think this is probably the third or fourth one that she's written in here. Is it possible to get the trees by the adult pool trimmed down? This would allow the sun to shine through past 3:30 p.m. We look at that every year. It's just right now it's not an emergent need. Poor Jim and Steve, they keep walking into our office asking for more tree money because the storm has taken that away. So we'll take a look at it. If there's funds available, then we look at, storm damage really killed us this year, hazardous trees, dead trees, trees that we know are probably going to be dying soon, and any other kind of safety items. Those are going to take precedence. So it's not on the radar right now, but one day it may be. So thank you. Any other questions, comments? No? I really have probably 4 more writing questions, but it's all about parking, and we've talked about that, I think, ad nauseum. So there's no other questions out there. We can get you guys back to garage sailing. All right. Oh, save some for tomorrow. Okay. All right. This will conclude our Q&A. Have a blessed weekend. Stay cool. Again, North Shore is a cooling center if you need it. So come on in and visit us, and come to the Lake Town Hall tomorrow. All right. God bless. Thank you.